Hey everybody, and welcome back to the board meeting. First of all, I want to apologize. My voice is kind of nasally and everything. I've been sick all week, but I'm going to try and record this video, make it through it, and hopefully it doesn't sound too bad, and I apologize for that. But the point of the video today is talking about a specific game, an older game that I had played, and I kind of overlooked it. And I kind of, played it, and I passed it on, and was like, okay, done with that, and move on. Is a very popular game, and that is the Lost Ruins of Arnak. Now, before I get into some other things, a very brief overview of what this game is. It is a combination of several mechanisms. You have your deck building in this game, you have your worker placement, and you have your hand management for this game. And in this game, you're going to be exploring this board. And each turn, each player is going to get one main action to do. And those main actions are stuff like playing a card as the location of that card, and then you can send a worker out to those locations. Now, there are unexplored areas that you can go to, but you'll have to spend more resources to explore those new regions. And the farther out you go exploring, the better the rewards are on these spots. If you discover a new spot, though, one of these guardian tiles gets put on there. And these guardian tiles are protectors of this land or whatever. I'm not really sure what they really are. But they'll have a certain cost to overcome them while you're on those spots. If you don't overcome the guardian while you're on that spot for that round, there's a small penalty. You'll get a fear card into your deck, which is kind of like a useless card, but also negative points. So that is exploring new spots, placing your workers out, and then you can also overcome those guardians. That's another main action. Another thing you can do is actually just play the card for the actual effect of that card rather than the location of it. And it'll do different things, different special effects on those cards. Good things, basically, getting you more resources and stuff like that. Another couple things you can do is you can buy these item cards, and these item cards will go, you buy them and they go underneath your deck. Those item cards cost coins, or you can buy these artifacts, and the artifacts cost these compass tokens. And the artifacts are interesting because they activate immediately, and they'll give you some really good effect usually. And then after that, then they'll go into your deck later on. And when they come out from then on, then you have to pay resources to actually activate that card's special ability. The other thing you can do is move up on this research track that's on the side. And the further up on this research track that you move, the more points you'll get at the end of the game. And while you're moving up this track, you're going to get rewarded for moving up the track, getting different resources. And in this game, there's not like a certain amount of actions that you're going to do in that round. You are going to have to manage your resources and try to extend your round as long as you kind of can. You'll go over here to get you have to spend these resources. Then you'll go over here and spend some of those, but you might get an extra compass token or maybe an arrowhead token. Then you bring it over here and get that. Then you'll go down here and get these resources, and then you'll buy some cards, and then maybe buy some artifacts. Stuff like that. So, I might take 6 actions in the round, but Billy Bob over there might take 12, It depends on how efficient you are going to be in that particular round. You're going to play 5 rounds of this. Person who's got the most points from cards and moving up the research track is going to win. And you get points for overcoming guardians and discovering the new locations as well. So that's a very, very quick overview of what this game is. And my particular history with this game is I bought this game at the exact same time that I bought Dune Imperium. And these two games are compared very much so. They're kind of linked together. And I think for good reason, is because they both came out at the same time, and they both are deck building, hand management, and worker placement games. Dune has got this, a war kind of area control mechanism they have, where Lost Ruins of Arnak has that research track. So there's a little bit of difference, but they're very comparable, and I think for good reason, and they came out like the exact same time. I bought those games at the same time. I bought them in a bundle together. And when they came out, when I got them, I played Lost Ruins of Arnak a couple times solo, and then I reviewed it on the channel as a solo game. And I thought it was a good game. The solo works really well. It's really simple to put into effect. The AI, you just flip a tile and put their work around those spots, essentially blocking yourself from going to those spots. So I thought it was decent. But then I got Dune Imperium as well, and I brought that to game night, and I played it multiplayer with friends. And I liked it a lot. My friends liked it a lot. In fact, my friends, Dune Imperium is actually their favorite game of all time. Two of my friends, actually, Dune is their favorite game of all time right now. It's not my favorite game, but it's up there. I mean, it's in the top 100 games of all time. Lost Ruins of Arnak did not make my top 100 games of all time at that moment. So yeah, I think that's a little bit of the difference. I played it twice, Lost Ruins of Arnak twice solo, and I was like, okay, that's a good game, and I put it away. I did not touch that game for another year and a half. And then recently, I was going through my shelf. I'm like, what game should I play today? And I was like, oh, Lost Ruins of Arnak. I should try that again. And by the way, I absolutely love this board game cover. It is one of my favorite. It's so vibrant. As well as the board. The board is really vibrant. It's very colorful. It almost is like intimidating because you think there's going to be a lot going on. There's not like a super amount of going on here, but I mean, it's so vibrant. It's definitely eye-catching. So I was like, yeah, I'll break that out again, and I played a couple games solo. I'm like, yeah, this is a really good game. Yeah. So then I'm like, yeah, I got to bring it to game night because those guys like Dune Imperium. Let me introduce them to this. And I played it multiplayer, and I loved it. I love it multiplayer. I like it a lot solo, but multiplayer, I really like it. There's a lot more tension of people, them stealing certain cards that you want to buy, them going to certain spots that you want. You're racing them up the research track in order, you don't want them to beat you on that. So there's a lot of tension in that. I like the multiplayer a lot, and I played it 2 or 3 more times multiplayer, and I played it twice solo again. I'm like, yeah, that's good. So then I went out and bought the expansion for this game. In the expansion, the Expedition Leaders, it doesn't really add a ton. It basically adds no more complexity to the game, which I really like. What it does add is these variable player powers. And that brought this game up a whole new level for me. Because I love games that let you distinguish yourself from other players just right from the beginning. In this, the Expedition Leaders, each player gets a specific deck of cards to start the game for that character. And then they also have interesting player powers that they have. I mean, one character starts with an extra worker. Everybody else starts with only 2 workers. There's a person that starts with 3, which is awesome. There's this falconer person who's got this falcon token that goes up this track, and at any time you can recall them and get the resources along that track. There's one person who's really good at buying artifacts, and you're going to get resources every round to buy more artifact cards. There's a person who's really good at coins. So it kind of gives you a path almost that you should follow. That might be a downfall for some people, but I really like the player powers in this. And so that just jumped up this game another level for me. And yeah, now that I've played it several more times, I feel like I jumped the gun a little bit too soon for this game, and I put it away too soon before exploring all of it. And I like the solo game, and I really like the solo game, actually. I like how simple it is and easy to play. If you know how to play the Lost Ruins of Arnak, it's another 1 minute to teach you how to do the solo mode and how to activate the AI, how they're going to move around. It's pretty simple, and I really like that. So I really like the solo game, and I really like the multiplayer game. And that kind of makes me think, like, I played Dune Imperium and I really liked it, but I played it as a multiplayer game first, and I was like, and that kind of stuck out, and we played it over and over and over again. Where I played Lost Ruins of Arnak solo only for a while, and it never made it to the game table again. Because as much of a solo gamer as I am, I always have better time when I'm playing multiplayer, when I'm playing with friends, when I'm enjoying the experience with others. Excuse me, my voice is really going. But yeah, I did really like this game, and it makes me think, yeah, I should have given it a fair chance multiplayer right away, and maybe I would have been playing this game for the last year rather than it just sitting on my shelf unattended to, when it deserved a little bit more attention from myself. Another thing I really like about this game is I don't really like teaching games. It's not like something I enjoy, perhaps, per se. But this game, I didn't mind teaching it. I've taught it like five other people now, or five different times, I should say. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't a hard teach, especially if you're teaching it to people who are experienced gamers, who've played deck building games, who've played worker placement games. You're like, yeah, it's kind of worker placement, and if they've played Dune Imperium too, you're like, okay, yeah, you can really teach this game pretty quickly. It's pretty easy concepts to grasp for experienced gamers. So I don't like teaching, but for this game, I found myself not minding the teach at all. Uh, but yeah, I think in my original review, the solo mode, I think I gave it maybe a 7, maybe a 7.5. So a good rating, but not anything that's going to make it, you know, memorable. So I other than the artwork, I thought, well, this game's that. Let's move on. Where I think I should have given it a little bit more love and a little bit more attention. Now that I have played it multiplayer several times and I've played it solo more and more times, and I've got the expansion that I really like, I would say this game jumps up to like an 8.5, a 9 even for myself. I do really like it, and I'm excited for hopefully something else that's coming out for this game in the future. But that'll be it for this video. Leave a comment down below what your thoughts are on this game, and if you kind of compare it to Dune Imperium, one versus the other, what do you think about those? But if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me, Shane, at the board meeting in the future. Hope you all have an amazing day. Take care, everyone.